I had to get this video out there. The last clips that I did of the Oticas, they were pretty good. They weren't bad. But I think that in terms of recording techniques and dialing everything in perfect, I think I could have done a better job. I went back and I listened to it, and I realized that I didn't go through all of my standard procedures of running pink noise in the system, calibrating the mics to be perfectly balanced, and getting everything in just tip-top shape. And so I decided to do that, and I just spent the last, hour or so getting everything perfect. And another thing that we should take note of is the subs in the Oticas have moved a little bit since we did the last sound clips with commentary. And I've been messing around all week, just obsessing. I'm an audiophile, obsessing over getting this integration of the Oticas and the subs to be perfect. And to my surprise, the subs are further away from the Oticas than I think I've ever had them. Typically, I have them as close as I can get, and it seems that making that smooth transition, that blend to the Oticas, was always a little bit better. But I gotta tell you, I don't know, the problem with getting into hi-fi is you think you know what you're doing just based on what everybody has always done or what you've seen, and you're kind of relying on what you think is common sense, but then you don't take the time to actually listen. It's like, well, I gotta say, regardless of the fact that these subs are a little bit further away from the Oticas and they're not positioned where I typically do it just based on how I think they're gonna work best, this sounds frickin' insanely good. I mean, wow. So I'm not going to bore you guys with the lame epidemic, sound clips. The track that I'm really interested in playing for you is, if you guys remember the Toadies, they had that one major hit. I think it was in the 90s. In any event, I'm a pretty big fan of the Toadies, and they had this album called Heretics, and it's all stripped down acoustics of, their songs. And the album is really, really well recorded. I love the recording, and the techniques that went into it, I think, are just brilliant. And the song that I want to play for you is called The Appeal. And the reason why I want to play this song, even though it's not going to push the envelope of what the Oticas are really capable of doing in the sense of complex passages and a lot of really crazy things going on. That's not this track. It's actually a ballad. It's kind of relaxed and chill. But what this track does is it defines the reason for LOTS, which is loudspeaker optimization techniques for SOUNDSTAGE. Is that what LOTS is? Yeah, for SOUNDSTAGE. Okay. And that's our, setup guide, our speaker setup guide that we've done. And I'm always making the case, get your speakers into the room if you want to explore SOUNDSTAGE and all things that happen within the time domain. So we're talking about, harmonic overtones, we're talking about decay structure, we're talking about things that exist in the stage. And I believe, with all my heart, I believe this is where you're going to start hearing a lot of the differences in DACs and what a DAC can really honestly do It's where you're going to start hearing the differences in different sources, in different preamps, in different amplifiers. The big differences, the stuff that gets me really kind of cranky, is seeing speakers slammed up against the wall and posts about, oh, I spent $100,000 on this rig and it is amazing. And I'm sitting there going, dude, you haven't even heard what that system is capable of doing. I'm telling you, you haven't even heard your rig yet. In any event, getting off my soapbox, I'm very passionate about this, but this track starts off with this, sounds like a B3 organ or something like that. Just this really nice sounding organ, and they're doing this kind of panning effect, you know, left to right, and kind of gives a sense of motion in the soundstage. You're like, wow, this is kind of cool. This is kind of neat. And it's more, I would say, middle of the stage, right? In terms of positioning. Sounds pretty big. But then something magical happens. A simple tambourine hit. Just by itself. Just a freaking humble tambourine, and it's just doing the single hit, and what happens is the decay structure of that tambourine is really important in regards to soundstage, because what it does is it establishes depth. It establishes how far back this room actually is, and when you hear it in person, you're not going to be able to really figure this out through the sound clips. I'm sorry, but you're going to just have to hear me out that it's almost like this light that just, from pitch black nothingness, you have this light that just lights up the entire room for a moment, and then it's gone again, and then it lights up the room again, and you're just like, this is a big space. And then when the rest of the band kicks in, that space that you had an idea of how big it is completely lit up. This track is the track that you would really want to play on your system to hear layering, depth, width, all things within the decay structure. And if you're not hearing a huge performance, a huge room where you have layering and distance between all of the instruments, including the lead singer, you need to explore lots. You need to get your speakers out into the room. You need to start moving things around and shifting things around and exploring speaker positioning, because I'm telling you right now, this is the one. Like, this is one of those tracks that you just, I'm telling you, this is the one that will help you very quickly figure out, do I really have something special going on with Soundstage? So I hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to play the entire track. It's 5 minutes and 46 seconds, so just grab yourself a drink, throw on some headphones, hang out with me, and let's listen to the Toadies, The Appeal, and it's off of the album Heretics.
just want to give you a little peace of mind. Two roads that got us here, and what did we find? Have we both been blind? Chasing our demons and feeding that fire inside. I will wait patiently and expect no reply. I got my answer already. I see it in your eye. So I'll just give you my love if you'll return in kind. I just hope that's enough for you and that we have a little more time. Or are we still blind? Chasing our demons and feeding that fire inside. I wish I could tell you the way that I feel. I know that I've failed you, so I make my appeal. I wish I could tell you what's on my mind. My heart won't let me be so cold. So what is tender and kind? Are we still blind? Are we still blind? Chasing our demons and feeding that fire inside. So this is the way that I feel, and I forgive you. I've made my appeal.
All right, so in regards to the gear that you're listening to right now, we have the NX Zenith, and from the NX Zenith, I'm using a custom-made USB cable from DB Audio Labs. That's Eric Hyder from DB Audio Labs. He was responsible for the Tranquility DAC, which was one of those DACs that won a ton of different awards, and everybody loved that DAC. And anyhow, DB Audio Labs custom USB cable from the NX Zenith that is then going into the Holo Audio MADAC, which is under review right now. That will be the next review that I release. I'm working on that right now. And that is a beautiful sounding DAC. I hate using the B word, but I think that I'm going to have to in that review. That is just a mind-blowing DAC. And the version that I have, there's 3 different versions of that DAC. There's a level 1, a level 2, and then what they call the Kitsune edition or KTE edition, and that's the DAC that I have in for review. So that guy is the DAC, and from there I am using reality cables, interconnect cables, which are then going to, I decided to switch things up a little bit. I'm going into the Audio Hungry AI-20. It's an integrated tube amplifier that was sent out for review. Beautiful, beautiful sounding integrated tube amp. It's got 5881 power tubes and 20 watts, man. Here's the thing with the Oticas. They're around 94-ish dB sensitive. We're not talking like Klipsch sensitivity. Like they're actually around 94. And they're easy to drive. They have a really nice load, 8 ohm load, throughout the entire spectrum. And so they're not hard to drive at all. And I, with the Manleys, and then now, this beautiful little Audio Hungry AI-20 or A20i, I love tubes on the Oticas. You got to get tubes. You got to at least try tubes on the Oticas. It's just beautiful. In any event, I've got reality cables, interconnects, connecting everything that you're listening to, and kind of just a mishmash of different power cords that I'm experimenting with, some audio art cables, some anti-cables that I've been exploring, and then some stuff that was sent over from DB Audio Labs, and I'm always cycling through power cords, trying to hear some differences, and pay attention to what's going on as I swap out power cords. The plate amps, those are set up different. When I did the sound clips with commentary in the last video, a lot of you guys were asking, hey, what are the plate amp settings? Well, they're different. And that is for a good reason, because we have 2 windows over here and we have 1 window over here. So placing the subs, to where they're symmetrical, you should get a different response because the environment is different behind the subs. And that does matter. So they're not set up the same. In any event, when I get to, reviewing the subs, the plate amps, and the Oticas, I'll go through all of this stuff and explain what it all means. But yeah, that track I've been pretty obsessed with. And it's just one of those tracks where if you take the time to do lots and you use that track as, kind of that benchmark of trying to get that layering effect, I really feel confident that that is a very good track to set up your speakers, in regards to SOUNDSTAGE and all things SOUNDSTAGE. So anyway, this will probably be my last video that I publish before Christmas. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I hope everybody is, safe and happy out there. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video.